F1 racing focused on who was driving faster on a fixed distance. Just in time for the race car had to run as fast as it could, so the F1 team set up the race cars with all their resources focused on getting the car's performance to the fullest. With such extreme performance to the limit, the engine often broke during the race and the race car could not finish. Even if the engine didn't break, it was natural to use a new engine in the next game after one game. If you look at the F1 race, it is not difficult to see the scene where the car stops because of engine trouble. In the 1920s, sports cars began to spread. And since the sports cars of that time were built with a focus on performance, such as 0 to 60 mph and top speed, engines often broke. Even if it was a fast car, if the engine stopped, it would be useless to drive slower than a wagon.
It reminds me of the Aesop fable of the hare and the tortoise.
So people naturally began to care about durability. In other words, people start to wonder not only who can run a fixed distance faster, but also who can run more distance at a fixed time. So in a 24-hour period, people competed for who was running more distance on the circuit as a sports car, which was the beginning of the 24-hour endurance race, and at the same time the sports car racing. From 1923, starting in France, LeMans 24 hours. From 1924, the year after Le Mans began, started in Belgium. Spa 24 hours.
Spa 24. It's in my town, too. I saw it on the sign of the sauna 24 hours a day. Oh, so that was a Belgian steam room.
From 1962. Started in the U.S. Daytona 24 hours. These three races are the most representative endurance races in the world, called the world's top 3 endurance competitions. For your information, the top 3 car races in the world are Formula One's Monaco Grand Prix, IndyCar Series' Indianapolis 500-mile race, and Le Mans 24-hour race. Then, after World War II, in 1953, the World Sportscar Championships began. And the sports car racing era began in earnest. The World Sportscar Championship has raced in various circuits around the world, including the European Le Mans 24 hours, Spa 24 hours, and the America's Daytona 24 Hours. So it was the world's best sports car racing competition. The World Sports Car Championship was held in two categories: sports prototype that is not very mass-produced, and mass-produced sports cars sold to the public. Even if people had the technology to make the best sports cars, they couldn't mass-produce them without marketability or the money to have a production system. That is why to create a category called Sports Prototype that allowed sports cars with a variety of high-tech applications to participate in the race more freely. And with a lot of sports prototypes racing fiercely, automobile technology was able to evolve even faster. There are two types of endurance races. The first is a time race of who was going to run more distances over a certain period of time, like a 24-hour endurance race. And the second is a distance race of who was going to run faster on a distance of hundreds of miles, like 1,000 kilometers race or 500 miles race.
That's right. People can't run 24 hours a day. Working more than 8 hours a day is not a courtesy to humans. So, I'm gonna need to get off work.
You may think that there will be a more relaxed race compared to the F1, because the race cars used in the endurance race are relatively slow compared to the F1 race cars. However, sports prototypes are the fastest race cars in the world, except for the F1 race cars. Although the lap time of a circuit is slower than that of the F1 race car. Sports prototypes run 75% of the race in full throttle, with a maximum speed of over 300 kilometers. Sports prototypes have to run hundreds of laps, not tens at that speed. So the difficulty of the race is unimaginable.
I agree 100%. It is much harder to run a marathon than running 100 meters and 200 meters. You've all run long distances in your school days, haven't you?
The World Sports Car Championship, which began in 1953, was held until 1992. After that, in Europe, the sports car racing had been divided into FIA Sports Car Champion, which the sports prototype participated, and FIA GT Champs, which mass production sports cars participated. And again, the European LeMans Series champions, which combines sports prototypes and mass production sports car categories, had been held. And after a competition called the Intercontinental LeMans Cup, the FIA World Endurance Championship began in 2012 and continues to this day. Called WEC for short, the competition includes 24 hours of LeMans.
Welcome to Le Mans, the biggest race on earth.
By the way, the crisis came to the Le Mans 24 Hours race, which will have a 100-year history in 2023. That is, if you enjoyed the video, please like.
If it wasn't fun, can I press dislike?
If you're looking forward to the next video, please subscribe me.
It's free. Let's subscribe.
Thank you very much indeed.